from Walmart. And what this resolution will do is it does not commit us to spending anything. This simply is our agreeing that we will be part of the settlement and we will get our portion of that money. It does not, as I said, spending comes later. It will come with, just like the last one, certain provisions that we spend it on abatement and prevention and treatment, of drug abuse. So I would ask that we approve tonight's agenda with this added under item, let's see. We'll put it under the last item, or the item D under Health and Human Services, and put the minutes under E.
All right, I'll make a motion that we approve the agenda with the addition of resolution number 230301.
Support?
I have a motion with support. Any further discussion on that change to the agenda?
Only insofar as the resolution contains some issues that I'd like to discuss, but to do that, we'd have to get it on the agenda. So just with the understanding, I want to discuss a bit of it after we add it to the agenda.
Well, we probably discuss it right now.
Right.
When it comes up under the item.
Sure.
It'll come up under Health and Human Services. All right, other discussion. All in favor of approving the agenda with that addition signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, and that is added to the agenda, and the agenda is approved. Next, I would be looking for a motion to approve the minutes of the February 16th, 2023 Board of Commissioners meeting.
So moved.
Support.
Motion with support. Any discussions on the minutes? All in favor of approving those minutes signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Those minutes are approved. And now we would need approval of the minutes of the March 2nd, 2023 Special Board of Commissioners meeting.
So moved.
I'll need support. I have a motion with support. Discussion on the minutes. All in favor of approving the minutes signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And those minutes are also approved. All right, Commissioner Garber, over to approval of the bills.
Thank you. I move to approve the invoice edit reports dated 2/17, 2/24, 3/3, and 3/10, and authorize Treasury to draw the warrants for the same in the amount of a total wire and EFT payments $7,158,463.69.
Support.
I have a motion with support. Any further discussion on the bills? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Holzhausen,
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson is excused, Commissioner Garber,
Yes.
Commissioner Howard,
Yes.
Commissioner Emery,
Yes.
Commissioner Webster,
Yes.
Chairman Broder.
Yes. At this time, we have a first opportunity for the public to address the board. I have no slips here. Would there be anyone? Seeing no one coming forward, we'll move on to our committee reports. Commissioner Holzhausen, can we start with you?
Yes, I'm on the Senior Citizen Board, and they're discussing at the Wasso Center, they'd like to redo the kitchen and add on to it, but it's gonna cost thousands and thousands of dollars, so I don't know whether they're gonna get the money, but that's something they're talking about or kind of need. Also on SEDP with Justin Horvath, and things are going good there. They got another grant for buildings that need repairs. They're going to be tore down, so they're going to give out, I think the land bank is going to give out some money on that, to that program. And I'm also on the 911 board, and they want to put a new fence around, security fence around the building, have security gate and everything. And they also want to do redo their whole parking lot and have a new parking lot. And I don't know if they're trying to get their sewer hooked up, but I don't know if they got it hooked up yet or not. I
Nope.
think it's going, working on it. And also on the Health and Wellness Board, and I guess we're gonna have at least maybe 4 people are new on there, on the board, so that's gonna be something different, so. And they was worried about the legislators in Lansing wanted to privatize it, and they've been talking about it, but I haven't heard anything more about it lately, but they was worrying about privatizing that. So, that's all I got on that.
Thank you. Commissioner Garber?
Yeah, just 2 quick things. To answer Gary's question, no, they're not moving along on the sewer project. There was a $10,000 deposit paid on January 27th for that work, and we are still waiting for that to commence. Hopefully soon. Veterans, I just wanted to note that they saw 291 veterans in the office in January and 260 in February. So, that's all I got.
Thank you. Commissioner Webster?
I'll tag on to what Commissioner Holzhausen had to say about the Council on Aging. The Owasso Center does need renovation. The kitchen is not at capacity to do all of the serving that they do both in congregate meals and Meals on Wheels. And so they're working with Lion Bear Ventures, who is the grant writer through the SEDP, trying to come up with some funding. They're also waiting for an answer from our attorney to see whether the ballot language allows them to use any of their millage fund for that building. They looked at the possibility of buying the building, so there are several properties for sale, and they looked at all of them. And by the time you buy something and renovate it, because everything would have to be renovated, nothing is set up for what they need, the cost would be about the same as renovating what they have. So they like the downtown location and are just figuring out how to fund it moving forward, working with VAA and those sorts of things. Community Corrections Advisory Board met yesterday. That board has picked up a lot of energy. Again, we're working with Ashley Connolly from Lion Bear Ventures. She's going to write the grant for us. I'm going to work with her some on just the administrative. This grant is primarily filling out forms. There's not a lot of narrative to it. It's just page after page of lists of judges' names and sheriff's name and all those kinds of things. But we yesterday came up with some pretty good ideas for what we want to include in our grant fund, most of which will probably include enhancements to our existing treatment courts, as well as addition of some pretrial services. So you will see the first draft, or you'll see a draft of that. It might be close to the final draft of it by our April meeting. We will need to approve it, or we have to approve the submission of a grant, and then we have to approve the actual grant. And so the approval of submission will need to come in April, and the approval of the actual grant that we have submitted can be after the submission date, which is May 5th, so that we will do at our May meeting. So those 2 things will be coming up. That's all I have.
Thank you. Commissioner Howard?
Yeah, the Planning Commission did not meet this month, and then the Parks and Rec Commission working on, again, looking at a grant to help improve Chi-Town Park. That's all I have.
Thank you. Commissioner Emery?
Nothing.
All right. I just wanted to mention that Mike Reeves and I went out to a county in St. Joseph, I don't remember the name of the county, out on the west coast of the state today, to look at some of what they've been doing to house homeless veterans, and I can't tell you how impressed I was, not only with what they're doing, but that it is basically costing the county nothing. And I suspect that in the very near future, we'll bring some stuff before this board and to ask for some approval to, do some legalities and so on. And I think that the veterans, given their new facility and all the things they're going to be doing, will be looking into doing just this kind of thing. It was very impressive, and I'm sure we can talk more in detail about it later. But that is in the works after today. Just got back a few hours ago. So I'm kind of psyched about that. All right, there's nothing else, Commissioner Howard, can we start with you, please?
Absolutely. I move to accept and place on file the 2022 Drain Commission Annual Report as presented.
Support?
I have a motion with support. Any further discussion on that item? I believe I can just do this with a voice vote. All in favor, placing that, passing that item, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That item passes.
I move to approve the rehabilitation mortgage discharge for Shannon L. Conkus of 514 North Shiawassee Street, Owasso, John and Elizabeth Freeman of 725 Lincoln Street, Owasso, and Betty A. Nansel of 1305 South Pierce Street, Owasso.
Support.
I have a motion with support. Further discussion on that item? Madam Clerk, I think I can do a voice vote on all of these items here, can't I?
I think you have to do a roll call on this one, it involves property.
Yeah.
I see. All right, a roll call vote then, please.
Okay, Commissioner Johnson is excused. Commissioner Garber,
Yes.
Commissioner Howard,
Yes.
Commissioner Emery,
Yes.
Commissioner Webster,
Yes.
Commissioner Holzhausen.
Yes.
Chairman Broder.
Yes.
I move to approve the PA 116 farmland agreement application for Thomas and Shannon Hinterman in Bennington and Shiawassee Townships.
Support.
Motion with support. Further discussion? All in favor of that item, signify.
Roll call. on
I still have to roll call.
Yep, on
Yes,
PA
property.
116.
Oh, for goodness sake, I'm trying to move things along.
I'm sorry.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Garber,
Yes.
Commissioner Howard,
Yes.
Commissioner Emery,
Yes.
Commissioner Webster,
Yes.
Commissioner Holzhausen.
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson is excused, and Chairman Broder.
Yes.
I move to approve the appointment of Christina Arderline to the Zoning Board of Appeals.
Support.
I have a motion with support. Any discussion on that item?
All in favor?
All in favor of approving that, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that is approved.
I move to approve the minutes of the March 13th, 2023 Economic and Physical Development Committee meeting.
Support?
I have a motion with support. Discussion on the minutes. All in favor of approving those minutes, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And the minutes are approved. Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Commissioner Garber?
Thank you. I move that we appoint Eric Morris as the Shiawassee County Corporate Counsel of Record.
Support.
I have a motion with support. I know we discussed this one at length. Is there anyone else who has any questions or anything on this? I think we should do a roll call vote on this one.
Commissioner Howard,
Yes.
Commissioner Emery,
Yes.
Commissioner Webster,
Yes.
Commissioner Holzhausen,
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson is excused, Commissioner Garber,
Yes.
and Chairman Broder.
Yes.
I move that we accept the county clerk's year-end report and place it on file.
Support.
Motion with support. Further discussion? All in favor of approving, signify by saying aye. Opposed? And that passes.
I move that we approve the minutes of the March 13th, 2023 Finance and Administration Committee meeting.
Support.
Motion with support. Further discussion? All in favor of approving the minutes, signify by saying aye. Opposed? And the minutes are approved. Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Commissioner Webster, to you.
Thank you. Public Safety and Courts Committee, item A, I move to approve the appointments of Tracy Peltier and Bob Beebe to the Community Corrections Advisory Board.
Support.
Motion with support. Any further discussion on those appointments? All in favor of approving those appointments, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And those are approved.
Item B, I move to approve the minutes of the March 14th, 2023 Public Safety and Courts Committee meeting.
Support.
Motion with support. Further discussion? All in favor of approving the minutes, signify by saying aye. Opposed? Minutes are approved. Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Garber, back to you.
All right. I move that we appoint Greg Broder, Bill Dodge, Chrissy Lab, and Shelley Okanicki to the Shiawassee Health and Wellness Board.
Support.
Motion with support. Excuse me. Further discussion? All in favor of approving those appointments, signify by saying aye. Opposed? Those are approved.
I move that we appoint Dan Sargent and Christina Ardeling to the Solid Waste Board.
Support.
Motion with support, discussion. All in favor of those appointments signify by saying aye. Opposed?
I move to approve the use of up to $30,000 from the Solid Waste Fund, Waste Management Fund 230, to fund 2 household hazardous waste collections in 2023.
Support?
The motion with support. This is our same thing we do every year. It's gone up a few dollars. I think last year they didn't quite spend the 30, so they've got a little bit of padding in there. Any other discussions on that item? Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Emery?
Yes.
Commissioner Webster?
Yes.
Commissioner Holzhausen?
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson is excused. Commissioner Garber?
Yes.
Commissioner Howard?
Yes.
Chairman Broder?
Yes.
I move that we participate in the class action lawsuit and approve resolution number 230301.
Support?
We have a motion with support. Commissioner Emery.
Yeah, I was not here when we entered into the initial lawsuit, this class action lawsuit. It seems to me, I had an opportunity to quickly look through this resolution. It seems to me the most pertinent part in understanding what's been done here is on the second page, the second whereas, the third and the fourth whereas paragraphs. I take it in the the second whereas on that page, it sets forth the allocation of the monies that are received in these settlements, which says 15% of the settlement are paid to the state or are allocated to the state, 15% allocated to local governments. But then it goes on to say that it also, in the next whereas provision, there's a default allocation method, which is in the next and whereas, and that is, I take the result of this is, and I don't know if this is a change from what occurred before. Previously, it says Shiawassee County desires to enter into an alternative allocation method which allocates settlement funds on a 50-50 basis to participating local agreements who have elected to participate in the proposed settlement and the state of Michigan. I don't know if that alters anything that was done previously, which I take it was the 15% to the state, 15% to the local government. To me, that was the kind of substantive change, and I don't know if that is a change or not. It seems to go out of its way to say that it's an alternative method of allocating the settlement funds. I don't know if that's important to any of you, but
It's not to me. I'll take $10 if they give it to us.
I don't think this resolution has anything to do with previous settlements.
It does not. This is the new settlement.
This is a whole new pot of money, and this is how that money is going to be allocated. And from how I understand, when I read this, is that there's this recommended way of distributing the money, but then state and local governments can negotiate an alternative allocation. And it sounds like Shiawassee County is desiring to enter into an alternative allocation, which I would have to assume, because the other party is the state of Michigan, that the state has agreed to this alternative. Rather than 15, 15, and 70, we're going to do 50-50. That's what I understand.
I am almost sure that you're correct, and that's what was explained last time. I wasn't here when the original one was signed on to, but that sounds very familiar, that there was an agreement with the state, and there was a reasonableness coming out of Lansing regarding this. I don't know how that happened, but there was, and that they were being fairly generous in this 50-50 allocation. So I think this is the same, or virtually the same agreement that we got last time. And
This is a whole different set of companies.
it is, but I think the settlement formula is probably very, very similar.
Just to
State
be
gets a
clear,
certain
we
amount.
are, the state and local governments are class plaintiffs. So we're on the same side.
Right.
in
Absolutely.
Boston. And it sounds like perhaps if the, it talks about a 50-50 basis, 15 and 15% totals 30%, but it's 50-50. I mean, it's the same for the state and local government. So what you say may be the same. I guess I didn't understand this alternative
I read it a
allocation,
little
which
bit
is
differently.
50-50.
I read it a little bit differently, and I don't know for sure I'm right. My thought was the state gets a pot of money, and in one scenario, it goes 15-50, and 70 is spent on other programs within the state. Or the state can just keep half for their programs, and half goes back to the local governments. So in the alternative, there's a larger share to the local governments. That is my understanding of it.
Under the,
But I'm not-
better, 50-50 would
Yes.
be greater to the local government.
Yes, that is my understanding, and I have a recollection of that's what happened last time. I can't swear to it, but I believe that is the case. Now, we can approve this tonight, unless this board wants to meet in a special meeting before the deadline, which is, I believe, April 19th. 18th. We don't quite have enough time to wait till our next set of board meetings, so if we don't want to approve it tonight, then we would have to get our questions answered and come back again. So
I'm fine with approving
Yeah.
it tonight,
Let's vote.
I'm comfortable with it.
yeah.
I mean, we've had our county coordinator, we've had our corporate attorney look over it, and I think it's fairly boilerplate.
And I'm sure there'll be some formula, just like there was with the Jensen settlement, which got disputed, about how that 50% that goes to local governments gets distributed,
Yes.
because Ottawa County protested how that happened, so we
Right.
held the funds up, but now we have them. But there will be a determination about how they decide which county or city government gets what, which we don't know yet.
Fortunately, it only held it up for a handful of months.
6 months or so.
Yeah, I was worried that would be years.
Yeah, me too.
And there's no downside, right? I mean,
There really is. I don't
So-
see one myself.
right.
We
and-
entered into the class action suit, and
I'm sure there'll be more details. This is just putting us in the lawsuit.
it is. This just says we're part of it, and yes, we're willing to take money.
Exactly.
Last time we was here on the other one, maybe some of you wasn't here, but we had attorney come here and explain it to us a little more.
I'm not quite sure
And-
why this one
But that's,
came
I
up
was
so
here. I don't,
rapidly
I
that we
don't,
had to add it
that was
tonight.
quite a few years ago, and I don't think
I think
I know
it's-
several of you
yeah.
wasn't on the board. I don't know.
Yeah, I talked to.
Was you on the board?
Yeah.
When he came? It must be you and I the only one then.
Yeah.
Last year.
Was you here when the other guy? Oh.
Sorry.
Well, you all were here for the original settlement, I was not.
Right.
I'm wondering if this alternate system, is it gonna impact how much we get? Maybe not a question of whether we get any, which kinda goes to, Commissioner Garber's concern, because we're gonna get, whether it's $10 or more, that's to our advantage, but in settlements like this, I'm not sure whether that, would change the amount that we get. I just don't know. If you heard that explanation and you're satisfied with it, then I'll just abstain and you can vote.
As I
I
recall.
don't think you can
You,
abstain.
you cannot.
As I recall from last time, after we entered in, then several months passed as this is all hashed out. And then we had a closed session where the attorney came and discussed the very specific settlement with us. This is how much you have been allocated. Are you willing to take that? So that happens later. This is just entering into the class action, because that was, like for all legal action, we can go into closed session. An attorney came and gave us that very specific,
Yeah, that's.
here's what the settlement offer is.
Oh,
Do you
okay,
accept it?
yeah.
I want to read
But I
that.
remember.
That if it was explained to you,
If I may, Dr. Boggs says Marlene is correct. Hi, Brian.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we can answer any of these questions really for sure, and,
well, I guess then the question is, should we answer those questions or not?
I don't think so. I'm comfortable with,
Yeah.
with approving this tonight and getting that ball rolling.
I am as well. There's no more, Madam Clerk, if you would do a roll call on this, please.
Commissioner Holzhausen,
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson is excused, Commissioner Garber,
Yes.
Commissioner Howard,
Yes.
Commissioner Emery,
Can I vote present,
You have to vote yes or no.
yes or no? Okay. Yes.
Commissioner Webster,
Yes.
and Chairman Broder.
Yes. All right, that passes.
All right, I move to approve the minutes of the March 14th, 2023 Health and Human Services Committee meeting.
Support.
Motion with support. Any discussion on those minutes? All in favor of approving the minutes signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The minutes pass.
Thank you.
Commissioner Webster, would you read
Sure.
that, please?
Committee of the Whole, I move to approve the minutes of the March 15th, 2023 Committee of the Whole meeting.
Support.
I have a motion with support. Discussion on those minutes. All in favor of approving those minutes signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? And the minutes are approved. I have nothing further from what I said earlier. Dr. Boggs is not here. We have one more opportunity for the public to address the board. Anyone want to come forward? Seeing no one, this meeting is adjourned.